Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. Wa nashhadu anna sayyidina wa sanadina wa shafi'ana Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'd. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وذكر فإن ذكرى تنفع المؤمنين صدق الله العظيم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وارحم على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما. There are a couple of announcements before I begin tonight, and inshallah I'll probably have to make these announcements again in the middle. We had a little bit of an internet problem in the beginning. I think, inshallah ta'ala, that is resolved now. And the second thing is that tonight will be the last live broadcast. And because we'll begin traveling in about 48 hours, inshallah, and the rest of Ramadan I will be in one journey or the other. But we will, from time to time, broadcast and upload different talks. And so those of you who want to receive those talks, you can go to the website and sign up. The website is islamicspirituality.org, and sign up using the link there to different WhatsApp groups. And inshallah ta'ala, we will continue different talks in this series throughout the month of Ramadan. As you know, the team is also trying to upload the previous talk recordings for you, and I've asked all of them to focus first and foremost on their own ibadat and families in Ramadan and whatever spare extra time they can use to perform that service for everyone, and so they're gradually going to continue to do that, inshallah. So tonight I actually am going to be giving the concluding talk of the series, but I will, so the concluding talk of the series entitled The Humanity and Humility of the Prophets, exploring their du'as in Quran al-Kareem, all of the Prophets alayhim as-salam ajmain. That said, even though tonight will be the concluding talk, I will actually from time to time upload the remaining installments of the talk, as well as continue with the Gems of the Quran series, inshallah. And perhaps every now and then still offer a Ramadan reminder, although now, alhamdulillah, because we are enter the 12th night and 12th day of Ramadan, we should no longer really need reminders, and I think all of us are, alhamdulillah, fully aware and cognizant of the fact that we are in the month of Ramadan. Alright? It may even be, Allahu Alam, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this, but we may even broadcast, but that will be at random times depending where I am. And in that case, and those of you who have made Mixlr accounts and follow or subscribe to the channel, then whenever I hit the word broadcast, you will get a notification. And if you happen to be free at that time, you're welcome to listen to live as well. But that depends on the internet connection. Otherwise, I would just upload the bayan, inshallah. So tonight's topic is the du'as of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam and several other prophets from Quran al-Kareem, and this is a topic that I call du'as for hard times. And this is something that is important because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala afflicted very hard times on all of the prophets alayhim as-salam ajmain, and also and especially on Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And so perhaps that those du'as in which we see the most of the humanity and humility of the Anbiya alayhim as-salam ajmain is in the du'as that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided them and inspired them and taught them to pray to Him during hard times. So before we even come to that, I want to talk a little bit about this concept of hard times in Quran al-Kareem. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran al-Kareem in Surah 31, Surah 42, verses 30 to 31. وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ. And whatever reaches whatsoever afflicts, literally means reaches and afflicts any one of you, all believers, min musibatin, from any kind of difficulty whatsoever. Alright? So those of you who know Arabic, when I'm saying and whatsoever, that's the translation of ma, reaches and afflicts each and every single one of you believers, that is kum. Min musibatin, from any kind of hardship, difficulty whatsoever, that is the translation of the tanween on the musiba. For any kind of hardship, trial, tribulation, difficulty, adversity, sadness, depression, hostility, enmity, failure, setback. فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ, then it is due to the sabab, the cause of all the things that you have earned through the commission of your own actions perpetrated by your own hands. Alright? So this is a universe, and this is repeated many different places in Quran al-Karim. So this is the first universal rule. However, the exception to this is the Anbiya al-Mursaleen alayhim as-salam ajmain. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent masa'ib, difficulties, trials, adversity on the Prophets alayhim as-salam ajmain, more than any and every in all of humanity, but it was not due to anything that they committed with their own action, or due to their own deeds, or due to what their, literally speaking, hands have committed. Right? So their situation is different. Why were the Messiah sent upon them? It was part of their Nabuwa, part of the manifestation, the izhar of their Nabuwa, part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala utilizing the lives and the teachings and the words and the feelings of the Anbiya alayhim as-salam ajmain to be guides for humanity. So in other words, because humanity, non-prophetic humanity, has the capacity to sin and will sin, and due to their sins they will earn and attract difficulties and trial and adversity upon them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He wants and wanted and always wants the Anbiya, the Prophets ajmain, to be the exemplars and guides and models for humanity. So Allah ta'ala put the Anbiya through the same process of musibah, but not due to any sins that they did, but on His own, due to His own will and wish, so that the way the Prophets alayhim as-salam ajmain would respond and react, and how they would behave and deal with those difficulties, could guide us, humanity, and their human followers on how we should also deal with such adversity. Right? That's one reason. A second reason the Messiah came on the Anbiya, which is, again, the reason is not due to any sins that they did, is to raise and exalt their darajat in the law, to raise and exalt their rank and their qurb and their nearness and proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright, so for us, however, this is the verse that applies to us, and that is that whatever difficulty is afflicting us is due to something that we perpetrated or committed with our own actions. وَيَعْفُو عَنْ كَثِيرٍ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually pardons you from much of what you did. What does this mean? That many times we as human beings will do something that's wrong, but Allah ta'ala will overlook that, pardon that, will not send a musibah because of that. Alright? But sometimes, and this is known only best to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes He will choose to send a musibah on us. So the first teaching then is obviously that we must turn to Allah ta'ala in istighfar, and seeking forgiveness, and making tawbah, and making repentance, in islah, in rectifying and correcting our affairs, in a'mal salih, in increasing in our virtuous deeds and good actions. And that is the real means that we must adopt in any time of hardship, difficulty, and adversity. Okay, now another verse. This is Surah Baqarah, Surah 2, verse 156. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the first guidance, what to do when we are afflicted in these hard times. الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. So those whom hardship and adversity afflicts, each and every one of them profess from the bottom of their heart. So I'm going to translate qalu, not that they said with their tongues. They profess and exclaim from the depth of their heart and being. And they attest and affirm to the ultimate reality of, which is a reality greater than any musibah, any difficulty that they're going through temporally in this world. They remember a universal reality about themselves which transcends the temporal reality of whatever temporary difficulty they're going through. And what do they express and exclaim from the depth of their hearts and being? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That indeed we are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Means our origin and our destination is all based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We live for the sake of Allah ta'ala. We were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We were sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or we were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. Allah ta'ala decreed for us to live this life on earth. Allah ta'ala decreed in our taqdeer X, Y, Z, different difficulties and setbacks in our life. And ultimately it's to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He and to Him alone that each and every one of us will return. So it's a notion that there's a broader issue here, right? That it's not just that I need to solve this difficulty or address this problem or somehow find a way out of this adversity. There's a broader thing, much more of concern to me than any musibah, any difficulty, worldly difficulty I'm in, is my relationship with Allah Ta'ala. Am I going to have a difficult meeting with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Is there any flaw or lapse in my relationship with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? These are the things that happens when a person says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay. Then, so the first thing is to express this with our tongue, but like I said, express it and feel it with our heart. The next teaching in Quran al-Karim, وَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ حَتَّى نَعْلَمَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّابِرِينَ وَنَبْلُوَ أَخْبَارَكُمْ. Alright. Now, it means, it had an original also meaning in its original historical revelation. The general teaching is that Allah Ta'ala is going to test us, put us in ibtila and balwa, and will keep doing so until and unless and in order that He may learn and discern and sort out and sift who are the mujahideen from us, who are those who are willing to struggle in the face of adversity. And this is a very difficult thing to do, because in human nature is that when you're afflicted or tried by adversity, you don't want to struggle, you want to collapse. This is the standard human reaction, to just absolutely collapse, to give up, to become hopeless, right? To lose your strength and ability. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us an ishara in Quran al-Karim here that no, whenever you're tested by the difficulty, you have to make mujahada, you have to strive, you have to struggle, you have to persevere. Alright? Then, another verse in Quran al-Karim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ma asaba min musibatin illa bi idhnillah, that there is no trial, test, difficulty, adversity that afflicts you, that can afflict except with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ, and whomsoever has absolute iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I have absolute belief, certain faith and conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore I know absolutely that Allah ta'ala wants to see me in this situation. Allah ta'ala has placed me in this situation. There must be some reason why I'm in this situation. Yahdi qalbahu, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He, Allah, will guide the heart, the spiritual heart of such a person. Which person? Who has iman and yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and has iman and yaqeen in the fact that whatever musibah, difficulty they're in, is due to the wish of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah ta'ala will guide them. Now guide them means Allah ta'ala may guide them to the way to resolve it, the way out of it. Means that Allah ta'ala will guide them through His tender mercy and console them and give them a sakina during it. Wallahu bikulli shay'in alim, and indeed Allah Ta'ala is all-knowing about everything. He knows best the entirety of our circumstances, our situation. Okay. Then another verse in Quran al-Karim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Surah, وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِذُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ. So this is first addressed in the singular you. And if indeed anything afflicts, literally means touches, anything befalls you, singular. If Allah Ta'ala makes anything harmful befall you, singular Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ. There is no being who can remove that except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we also realize that on the one hand, yes, we may have to make use of some asbab to resolve the matter, to repel the difficulty, to repel the evil, but ultimately, in the ultimate level of reality, فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ, that there is no being who can remove that from us except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah 13, verse 107. وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِذُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ. Same thing. If any hardship befalls you, if Allah ta'ala makes any hardship befall you, فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ, that no one can remove it, no being can remove it except for Him. وَإِن يُرِدْكَ بِخَيْرٍ. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends for you, originally it's you, singular Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, any khair, any goodness to bestow, any blessing, any khair, فَلَا رَادَّ. There is nothing that can then repel لِفَضْلِهِ يُصِيبُ بِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. Nothing can return and repel Allah Ta'ala's fazl, His grace and generosity on a believer, when Allah Ta'ala intends to bestow that grace and fazl on a believer. يُصِيبُ بِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. And Allah Ta'ala will make that fazl reach whomsoever He wishes, min ibadihi, from all of His servants and creatures and slaves. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. And He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is all forgiving, all merciful. Alright? So these were some verses so far. Then Allah Ta'ala mentioned, and we did this when we did the tafsir, Surah Baqarah, Surah 2, verse 214, مَسَّتْهُمُ الْبَأْسَاءُ وَالضَّرَّاءُ وَزُلْزِلُوا حَتَّى يَقُولُ الرَّسُولُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ النَّصْرَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ. So this person can be afflicted so much that ultimately they will call out, مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ أَلَا إِنَّ نَصْرَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ. That when will the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come? No, indeed, that the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is imminent. It is near. It is about to come. Then another verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran Kareem says, and we did this also in the tafsir, وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِأَعْدَائِكُمْ. And Allah Ta'ala Himself knows best about who your enemies are. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَلِيٌّ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ نَصِيرًا. And Allah Ta'ala alone is sufficient as your wali, as your protector and guardian against those enemies. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ نَصِيرًا. And Allah Ta'ala alone is sufficient for you as a helper against those enemies. Then in Surah Al Imran, Surah 3, verse 173, again we explained this already in the tafsir series, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. So what is the statement we should say, a sentence we should recite, a feeling we should feel in times of difficulties? Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, that Allah Ta'ala is sufficient for us, and He is the best wakil, He is the best guardian and protector over us in any of these times of adversity. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al Imran, Surah 3, 120, إِن تَمْسَسْكُمْ حَسَنَةٌ تُسُؤْهُمْ وَإِن تُصِبْكُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ يَفْرَحُوا بِهَا وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا لَا يُضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ مُحِيطٌ. So the key part here is وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا. If you are patient and you endure and you persevere, وَتَتَّقُوا, and you adopt taqwa, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَا يُضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ. Their plotting and planning and scheming cannot harm you شَيْئًا, in the slightest, in any matter at all. Inna Allah bima ya'maluna muhit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge is all encompassing over everything that they do. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another place in Quran mentioned a very beautiful teaching. أَفَمَنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. That who is it who will reply and answer to the mudtar? So the mudtar is the person who is in dire, straitened circumstances, who's surrounded with no way out, who is in a place of hopelessness and loss and helplessness. Who will answer such a person? إِذَا دَعَاهُ, when they make dua to him. وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ, and will remove from them the evil that is afflicting them. Yani, it means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are now basically these verses that we should remember and think about whenever any difficulty comes upon us. So some key teachings to repeat again for us. Number 1 was Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Number 2 was to make mujahada and to have sabr when any difficulty comes upon us. Number 3 was that to know that that difficulty has come upon us because of our own deeds, so to make istighfar and tawbah, and to make islah and to do a'mal salih. Number 4 is to have absolute iman and yaqeen that whatever difficulties has come upon us is with the permission of Allah Ta'ala, and if we have that iman and yaqeen, that Allah Ta'ala will send His hidayah on our spiritual heart. Number 5, that we can also recite this, فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُ, that no one can remove this adversity, difficulty, except for Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَا كَاشِفَهُ إِلَّا هُ. Right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said that He can send His fazl on us, on whomsoever He wants from His ibad, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ, and He is all forgiving and all merciful. So sometimes in times of difficulties this can also be recited, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Then if a person feels that the adversity, difficulty is drawn out and has gone on for a very long time, then they can recite Mata Nasrullahi ala inna Nasrullahi qareeb. Mata Nasrullahi ala inna Nasrullahi qareeb. And then if a person feels that they're suffering this musibah because of some enmity, so they can recite Wallahu a'lamu bi'a'da'ikum wa kafa billahi waliyyan wa kafa billahi nasira. Then a person can also recite Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Then a person should make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe they pray Salat al-Hajjah, maybe they just make general dua, maybe they pray Salat al-Tawbah, maybe they make Sayyid al-Istighfar, but the point is to make a lot of duas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are all the different ways to respond with humility at a time of adversity and difficulty. Okay, now let's look at some of the du'as of the Anbiya alayhim as-salam ajmain. So first is the dua of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Nabi Musa alayhi salam. So he made dua to Allah Ta'ala, but for him was a time of difficulty, outwardly apparently, was when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him that he has to go to Fir'aun and do dawah and invite Fir'aun to belief in the one and only God, to Tawheed, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he made dua to Allah Ta'ala what? Rabbi shrah li sadri, that oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expand my breast. Means give me hilm, give me zarf, give me forbearance, give me capacity, give me, strength. Wa yassir li amri, and make this matter an affair of mine, that I'm being sent as a Nabi and Dai to such a person. Make this easy for me. Grant ease in this matter and affair of mine. And third, Wahlul uqdatam min lisani, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the knot that is on my tongue. And if you remember this from your history, that Sayyidina Musa Isam had spoke with a slight slur, right? Yafkahu qawli, so that my qawl may be more eloquent. And so this is very humble. Otherwise a person would think that Allah Ta'ala has made me a Nabi, I'm a prophet, I'm chosen, I will go and I have the truth and I will invite and I'll make dawah. So this is, sometimes people of dawah, it creeps up on a person, a certain arrogance, a certain vanity, a certain conceit, a certain self-righteousness. So let's look at Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. That is not there in him at all. There's no sense of arrogance here. There's no sense of self-righteousness here. There's no sense that yes, I am in the right and I'm the prophet and I will definitely go to Fir'aun and of course I will explain to Fir'aun. No, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. And it's also, so that's the humility. And it's also humanity in the sense that Nabi Musa realizes, not a superhuman, he's a human. He realizes the difficulty of this task. He realizes that he needs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's only one super being, there's only one supreme power, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's also what it means to be human. And this is again a problem that some of us, whether we're in dawah or ilm or whatever the field may be, or due to worldly accomplishment or riches or whatever, we develop this vanity and conceit and arrogance in us, almost like a sense of entitlement due to some level of accomplishment, and that's not there at all in the Anbiya alayhi mind. There's no sense of entitlement here due to being accomplished as a chosen prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the dua of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. And you know that many of you would have heard this dua many times, and this is a dua that is taught also, it is taught also by the tradition that this dua should be recited whenever a person is involved in any effort of deen, especially dawah of deen, khidmat of deen. Okay, so this is a very important dua. Then another dua which we did was the Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That indeed we are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to Allah ta'ala is our return. We are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we exist for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to Allah ta'ala is our return. Now, one way is to recite this as a dhikr, as a statement of fact. And one way is to recite this as a dua. What does that mean? So when we recite these ayat Qur'aniyah as du'as, one aspect of that is that, Ya Allah, I know this is true in terms of my aqeedah, in my belief, in my creed. I know this statement is true. I know the reality being referred to by the statement that my whole existence is for your sake, and to you is my return. But right now I'm shaken up. Right now, because of this difficulties, adversity, I'm losing sight of this reality. I'm weak. I'm focusing on worldly things. I'm getting sad because of worldly things, and I'm forgetting. So I'm going to recite this over and over to myself as a dua. And what is my dua? That Allah Ta'ala make this the reality of my heart. Make this the reality of my being. Make this the dominant knowledge in my consciousness. What? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is why it's recited repeatedly. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So the meaning and feeling and import and impact of that sentence, of that ayah of Quran, becomes ghalib, dominates, and becomes dominant and overpowers and overwhelms the heart and soul of that being, as opposed to the musibah, the difficulty, the sadness, the depression, the hostility becoming dominant in their heart and soul and being and overwhelming them. Alright? Because if they allow that musibah, that difficulty, that adversity to overwhelm them, then they may fall into depression, they may fall into apathy, they may lose heart, they may lose hope, they may become distant from Allah Ta'ala, they may become distant from Deen. So this is a beautiful sentence and a very powerful sentence. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, then we can also remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Quran, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ, that your Rabb has said, Ud'uni, make dua to me, astajib lakum, I will answer the call and grant the dua for each and every one of you. Alright? And so this gives us hope then. So maybe we begin with some sentences like Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, or Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, or La kashifa lahu illahu. Right? These sentences that I mentioned in the beginning, or Wallahu a'lamu bi'a'da'ikum, wa kafa billahi waliyyan wa kafa billahi nasira. Okay, and then when we mention these sentences, then the second thing is we should remind ourselves that Allah Ta'ala accepts dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts dua. So we did one before. أَفَمَنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Or we can recite this ayah, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. And then what should dominate our consciousness is that I may feel that there's no way out, I'm hopeless, there's no one to help me, I have no friend, I have no helper, I have no protector, I have no ally, I have no companion, I have no one who believes me, I have no one who's with me. But then we recite these two verses, we know we have Allah Ta'ala with us. Allah Ta'ala is there for us. He is our companion. He is our friend. He is our helper. He is our protector. He is our guardian. He is all-knowing. He is all-aware. He wants us to make dua to Him. He will answer and reply and grant all the duas we make to Him. So then recite these verses until this becomes the hal. This becomes our understanding. And then we can turn and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Turn and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, example of what we did, for example, earlier in the series, the dua of Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. So Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in an authentic hadith narrated by Imam at-Tirmidhi Sunan, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the dua of my brother Dhunnun, in Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, the dua. So this sentence again was described as a dua. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. That this dua, no Muslim, no believer will call upon Allah Ta'ala with that dua for any situation whatsoever, except that Allah Ta'ala Most High, Allah Ta'ala the Exalted, will answer their dua, will grant their dua. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. Now if you think about it, here there's no dua technically. If you look at the word for word translation, and we did this already in the series, is there's no actual asking for anything. It's just professing the tawheed and oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha illa ant. It's professing the tasbih, glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanaka. It's acknowledging our own errors, inni kuntu min al-zalimin, but that itself is a dua. Because Allah Ta'ala knows, remember, He's Al-Alim, He's Al-Khabir. He knows your situation, He knows your difficulty, He knows how hurt you are, He knows how desperate you need His help, He knows that you need a way out, He knows that you need this thing resolved. He knows all of that. He knows, you don't even have to say that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows all of that. Nabi Yunus didn't say, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin, and then say, Oh Ya Allah, remove me from the whale. Oh Allah, rescue me from the situation. Oh Allah, cast me back into shore. Oh Allah, I promise if you remove me from the whale and cast me back to the shore, I will go back to you and make dawah again. Nothing. Because Allah knows all of that. Allah knows all of that. He just had said, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. Again, this is their humility. Again, this is their humanity. And part of their humility was sometimes they didn't ask Allah Ta'ala for things specifically. And this is also the beauty in our relationship with Allah Ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what you conceal in your breasts, so it can be taken positively. He knows the du'as, He knows your needs, He knows your yearnings, He knows your longings. And we, I think I can't remember, but when we did the dua of Nabi Yunus alayhi salam in the series, earlier in the series, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And we replied, and we granted him salvation and emancipation from the sorrow that he was in and the distress that he was in. And thus, exactly in a like manner, Allah Ta'ala says that we, Allah Ta'ala, will grant salvation and succor and najat to the mu'mineen, the believers. Alright? So that's even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in Quran the power that this sentence will have for the believers. Now it comes in a hadith, and this hadith has been narrated by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, when he was afflicted with it in hard times and distress, he would make a particular dua. La ilaha illallah al-alim al-halim. La ilaha illallah rabbul arshil azim. La ilaha illallah rabbus samawati wa rabbul ardi rabbul arshil kareem. So again, the Prophet ﷺ is not asking anything in this dua. Allah Ta'ala knows everything. Simply attesting again to the tawheed, la ilaha illallah, to the fact that Allah Ta'ala al-alim, He knows every single thing. And that Allah Ta'ala al-halim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withholds His punishment even while entitled to do so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives our sins even though He is fully entitled to punish us for them. This is al-halim. Then again, tawheed, la ilaha illallahu, And then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, magnifying Allah ta'ala by referring to him as Rabb al-Arsh al-Azim. Allah ta'ala is the Rabb. He is the being who is nourishing and caretaking everything under the canopy of his Arsh, means all of creation and all of the universe. Then again, Tawheed la ilaha illallah. Then again, mentioning at a more closer level. So one is Al-Arsh al-Azim, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Rabb of everything in the universe. Then second, Rabb al-Samawat, Allah ta'ala is the Rabb of everything in the firmaments and the skies and the heavens. And third, wa Rabbul Ardi, and Allah ta'ala is the Rabb of the ground that I walk on. And finally, Rabbul Arsh al-Kareem, that Allah ta'ala is the Rabb of the Arsh al-Kareem. Right? So the first was Azim, and the second is Kareem. So you can imagine Arsh al-Azim is symbolic, and I explained this earlier in the Tafsir series, of this canopy, of this vantage point through which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala focuses on creation, right? And Al-Kareem is referring to the fact that Allah ta'ala's entire engagement with creation is through Kareem, is through like the shade of his grace and generosity and love and beneficence. Then another hadith narrated by Imam at-Tirmidhi in his Sunan, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he was afflicted with a deep, stressful trial, he would say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum bi rahmatika astaghith. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum bi rahmatika astaghith. So two particular attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Hayyu, that O being who is all alive, the embodiment of life itself. Ya Qayyum, that being who is self-subsisting, everlasting, and through whom any and every member of creation has any and all subsistence. Bi rahmatika astaghith, I seek help. Astaghith, I seek help. Bi rahmatika, by means of your mercy. By your mercy I seek your help. So this is invoking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, and that the rahmah is ever present in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because His hay, and that rahmah is the means by which everything is being sustained in this qaim. Ya Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum bi rahmatika astaghith. Then in Surah Al-Qasas, Surah 28 verse 24, dua of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. So Nabi Musa alayhi salam made dua, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin fakir, that O my Rabb, indeed me, I am desperately, utterly, absolutely, entirely needy and dependent on any khair whatsoever that you may choose to descend upon me, send down towards me. Allahu Akbar. This is the humility of Muslims. Any khair, I am needy and dependent of it. Alright? Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin fakir. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin fakir. So this is the humility, not even asking for a particular khair, not asking for the particular need in the particular time of difficulty, just turning to Allah Ta'ala generally in complete submission, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm needy of any khair that you can send upon me. Right? Then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam used to make a dua, and this is narrated by Ibn Hibban in his Sahih. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altu sahla, that O Allah, there is nothing easy except that which you make easy. Wa anta taj'alul hazna idha shi'ta sahla, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you want, you can make the most difficult things easy. Then in a hadith in Abu Dawood, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told Asma bint Umair radiyallahu anha, she narrates that the Prophet he said to me, shall I not teach you some words which you can say at times of distress? And one other narration of hadith says that this sentence should be said 7 times. What? Allah, Allahu Rabbi. Allah, Allahu Rabbi. La ushriku bihi shay'a. Allah, Allahu Rabbi. Allah, Allah is my Rabb. La ushriku bihi shay'a. I do not associate any kind of partners with Him. So this is a zikr, a dua that can be said 7 times. Allah, Allahu Rabbi. La ushriku bihi shay'a. And the first two kalimat of this hadith are also the proof that it's permissible to make a dua. Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allahu Rabbi, la ushriku bihi shay'a. Then another dua that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to make. It's also mentioned in authentic hadith. Allahumma inni as'aluka ta'jila afiyatik. That, oh Allah Ta'ala, I ask you to speedily send upon me your afiyah, your succor, your kindness, your help. Wa dafa'a bala'ik. And that Allah Ta'ala, you remove from me all the difficulties and adversities that may have overwhelmed me. وَخُرُوجًا مِنَ الدُّنْيَا إِلَى رَحْمَتِكَ. And literally it means that an exit from this world towards your mercy. So that is a type of dua that somebody would make in an extreme situation, right? In a situation of extreme distress and hardship. So these are some of the du'as that the Anbiya alayhim ajma'in made, and that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam made. So again, I'm just going to repeat the announcements here in the middle that I said in the beginning. Is that tonight is the last live broadcast. I will make it Mixlr on this time, and inshallah, because we'll be traveling now, and then while we travel, we will from time to time record and upload audios, and we may even sometimes try to live broadcast them on the Mixlr channel. And if you want to get those notifications about those audios being uploaded, then you just have to go to the website islamicspirituality.org and click to join, or get the link to join the WhatsApp groups, and then inshallah the links to those audios will be posted there. Now I want to turn to some special du'as of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. 4 very special du'as that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to make, and that we should try to make sincerely and repeatedly in this month of Ramadan, because month of Ramadan is the month of du'as. So these are Sayyid al-Istighfar, then the dua to be recited with Salatul Hajjah, then the dua to be recited after Salatul Istikhara, and finally the dua that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made at Taif. So these are 4 very, very special duas and of our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The first, Sayyidul Istighfar. So the Prophet ﷺ referred to this dua as the king of Istighfar, the best way, the best dua with which to seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma anta rabbi la ilaha illa ant. That, oh Allah, you are my Rabb, and there is no God except for you. Right? So this is again beginning with Tawheed, and not just the expression of Tawheed, but your personal connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is your Rabb. Means you're saying, what you're basically saying here, what we're saying is, Allah Ta'ala, you are my Rabb, you are my one and only. There is no one in my life at the level of Rabb and Ilah except for you. You are my one and only. Alright? Khalaqtani, and you are also my Khaliq, and you created me. I am merely your creation. Wa ana abduk, and I am your servant and slave and creature. Wa ana ala ahdik, and I am on the pledge and covenant wa wa'dik, and the promise that you have bestowed upon me, mastata'tu, as long and to the extent that I am capable. A'udhu bika bin sharri ma sana'tu. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the evil of what I have committed. Abu'u laka bi ni'matika. All the while I acknowledge your bounties and blessings alayya upon me. Wa abu'u laka bi dhanbi. And I also accept and acknowledge my sin. Faghfir li. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please forgive me. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. And indeed, who is it Right? Indeed, there is none who can forgive sins, none who do forgive sins except for you. So this is the humility that we're acknowledging Allah Ta'ala's bounties. This is the preface to acknowledging that we sinned. We're accepting that our act of sinning wasn't just an act of disobedience, but it was an act of wretched ungratefulness, because you sent so many blessings and bounties and graces and favors upon us, and we chose to sin anyway. So that is so wretched and ungrateful of us. So that's why we first say this: Abu'u laka bi ni'matika alayya wa abu'u laka bi dhanbi. So basically we are expressing to Allah Ta'ala, I accept the horror of my sin, the horror that I could sin, even though you are my Rabb and you created me and I'm your Abd and you send your ni'mah on me, but nonetheless I still sinned. So that is the beautiful way. That's the humility in it. That's a deep i'tiraf. That's a deep acknowledgement and acceptance of one's sins. And then one asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, faghfir li, that, oh Allah, forgive me. Now, technically speaking, the grammatical form there, faghfir li, is the imperative form. Strictly, it's as if you're commanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But obviously, a human being cannot command Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what's the difference when we say astaghfirullah as opposed to when we say faghfirli or igfirli? So what's happening is when a person is so desperate, it's even more desperation than astaghfirullah, that we're saying out of absolute desperation and need plaintively, Allah, just forgive me, just forgive me, just forgive me. So just think of it. Let me try to do it for you in English to get a feeling of the difference. I ask your forgiveness, astaghfirullah. I ask your forgiveness, astaghfiruka, I ask your forgiveness. Astaghfiruka, I ask your forgiveness. Faghfirli, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. You can feel the difference now. So faghfirli is even a more deeply profound, plaintive plea, begging cry to Allah Ta'ala to forgive us. And because the person is so desperate, they end up using this imperative form, command form. Not that they have any authority or right to command Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that's how desperate they are. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Allahu Akbar kabira. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ. And indeed, no one can forgive sins except for you. No one can forgive sins except for you. So very important dua. We should try to make it in morning. We should try to make it in evening. Generally, we should want not any day of our life to be empty of this dua. But certainly in Ramadan, we would not want any day to be empty or bereft or absent of this dua. Second is Salatul Hajjah. Inshallah, I know because the internet was a bit off, so we will inshallah try to upload this and just send you this audio on WhatsApp in a simple audio file as soon as possible as we can, immediately after the talk ends tonight, inshallah. Second dua of Salatul Hajjah. So this is a teaching that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us, that when you have a need, now we always have needs, so we're always in a state of need, but when you have a very special, particular, deep need, and you want to present that need to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so then you should make wudu, face the Kaaba, towards the Qibla, right? And pray 2 rakahs, nafil salah, and then make this dua. La ilaha illa, again, always starting with Tawheed. La ilaha illallahul halimul kareem. That there is no deity, no God except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is al-halim, who is all forbearing. Al-kareem is all generous, all gracious. Subhanallahi rabbil arshil azim. So we explained this to you before in the early dua. Glory be to Allah ta'ala, pure and immaculate. He is above and beyond my sins. He is above and beyond answering and fulfilling my needs. Rabbil arshil azim. He is the Rabb of the arshil azim, but He's also my Rabb. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And all praise only and only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Rabb of the Alameen, who is the nourisher, caretaker, sustainer of all of the created worlds. Allahumma inni as'aluka mujibati rahmatik. Allah ta'ala, I ask all of those things that will lead me to your mercy. Wa azaima maghfiratik, and your forgiveness. Wal ghanimata min kulli bir, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you bestow upon me the wealth that I get to do every virtuous deed. Was salamata min kulli itham, and I ask that you grant me sanctity and safety and free me from ever committing every sin, any and every sin. As'aluka la tada' li dhanban illa ghafarta. I ask Allah that you leave no sin of mine unforgiven. Wala hamman illa farajta. And that you leave no worry or grief of mine except that you relieve it. Wala hajatan hiya laka ridan. And then that you don't leave any need of mine, such a need that you are pleased with that need, illa kadaytaha, except that you fulfill that need of mine. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, O most merciful of the merciful ones. O most merciful of the merciful ones. So again, this is a beautiful dua where a person is expressing their need to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, expressing their feelings for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, describing their relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and plaintively asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill their need. Then dua of istikhara. Right now, dua of istikhara can be made when we have to make a particular decision, and also can be generally made if you're struggling with indecisiveness, or generally made that every day. Even some of the ulama and mashaykh used to pray this salah and make this dua every day, so that every major and minor decision they may happen to make in that day could have khair in it, that Allah Ta'ala could put barakah in it. Allahumma inni astakhiruka bi ilmika. O Allah, I seek khair from you. I seek the wisdom of what is virtue and good and best for me, bi-ilmika, by means of your knowledge. Because my knowledge is fallible, my knowledge is limited, your knowledge is infallible, your knowledge is unlimited. You will always know better than I can ever know what is khair, what is virtue and good and best for me. Wa astaqdiruka bi-qudratik, and I seek that power of yours, the decision and decree of yours by means of your power. وَأَسْأَلُكَ مِنْ فَضْلِكَ الْعَظِيمِ, and I ask you by means of your tremendous bounty and virtue. Because Allah Ta'ala said in Quran Al-Karim, وَاللَّهُ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَظِيمٍ. And He's also said in Quran Al-Karim, وَاللَّهُ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. فَإِنَّكَ تَقْدِرُ وَلَا أَقْدِرُ. You have power and decree and I don't. وَتَعْلَمُ وَلَا أَعْلَمُ. And you have the complete knowledge and you know and I don't. وَأَنْتَ أَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. And Allah, you are the all-knower, the deep knower of everything that is unascertainable and unseen and hidden. And so the notion is that what we're saying is that for me, on this particular matter and decision, what is khair for me is hidden from me, it's unascertainable to me. Allahumma in kunta ta'lamu, that, O Allah Ta'ala, if indeed you truly, everlastingly know, anna hadal amra, you can say these words, or if you want, you can insert the matter, that this matter and affair, khairul li, is good for me, has virtue for me, is best for me, fi dini, in terms of my deen, wa ma'ashi, in terms of my life, wa aqibati amri, and the end of my affair means in my afterlife. So deen, dunya, akhirah. Fi dini, wa ma'ashi, wa aqibati amri. فَقْدُرْهُ لِي, so decree it for me out of your power. وَيَسِّرْهُ لِي, and make it easy for me, and it means make it easy for me to attain it. ثُمَّ بَارِكْ لِي فِي, and put barakah, put your blessings in it for me. وَإِن كُنْتَ تَعْلَمُ, however, if you know in your everlasting knowledge, أَنَّ هَذَا الْأَمْرَ, that this matter or an affair or this particular side of the decision, شَرٌ لِي, is evil for me, fi dini wa ma'ashi wa aqibati amri, in terms of my deen, in terms of my life in this world, my living, and in terms of the end of my affair, means my hereafter. Fasrifhu anni, then Allah Ta'ala turn it away from me, remove it from me. Wasrifni anhu, and turn me away from it, means disincline my heart from it. Put it out of my reach and aver my heart from it. Waqdur li al-khayra, and Allah Ta'ala decree for me instead al-khayra, what is best, haythu kana thumma ardini, wherever that may be. And then Allah Ta'ala be happy with me, be pleased with me. Well, this is a dua of istikhara, right? And even just the meaning of it, and even if somebody cannot pray, or they're in a situation, or they're not wudu, they can make the dua on its own even, right? And it's a very worthwhile dua making to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, to repeat it so that it becomes the feelings of our heart, the hal of our being, the state of our mind, the depth of our consciousness. And finally is the dua that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made at Taif. Okay, and this is when he was returning back from Taif, and he was in a particular state, and he was turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allama ilayka ashku dhu'fa quwwati. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it literally means, to you, O my Rabb, I complain of my weakness. So complaining means I present my weakness. Wa qillati hilati, and my lack of support. Wa hawani ala nas, and the humiliation I have received with humanity. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, O the most merciful of the merciful ones. Anta Arhamar Rahimin, you are the most merciful of the merciful ones. Allahu Akbar. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Anta Arhamar Rahimin. Anta Rabbul Mustad'ifin wa Anta Rabbi. That you are the Lord, you are the Rabb of the most weak, and you are my Rabb. And you are my Rabb. Ila man takilani, ila aduwin. That Allah Ta'ala, to whom have you left me? Right? To whom have you made a wakil over me? To whom have you left me? To an enemy? To an enemy who receives me with hostility? Or to an enemy that you have granted them power? Am ila aduwin malaktahu amri, that you have granted them power and sovereignty over my affair? In lam yakun bika ghadabun alayya. But Allah, as long as your wrath is not upon me, you are not displeased with me, fala ubali, I do not care what happens with me. Walakin afiyatuka hiya awsa'uli. However, Allah Ta'ala, your afiyah, your happiness and your rescue and placing me in the shade of your protection and your grace is more expansive for me, is more consoling for me. Alright? أعوذ بنور وجهك الذي أضاءت له السماوات والأرض. Allah, I seek refuge in the brilliance and luminance of the expression of your pleasure, such a nur that can brighten every single thing, right? In the samawat and the ard. وَأَشْرَكَتْ لَهُ الظُّلُمَاتِ, and can dispel all the darknesses. It's so bright, right? And then I seek refuge in such a nur that what? That you rectify my matter in this dunya, amr dunya wal akhirah, my matter in this dunya and in the akhirah. And I seek refuge that you never ever send down upon me your wrath and anger, and you never even make, literally means yahillu alayya sakhatuk, that you never make it halal, you never make me incur, you never make me the subject of your anger. Lakal utba, and to you Allah Ta'ala is the ultimate submission, hatta tarda, until you are pleased with me. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa bik, and there is no might and no power except with you and through you and with your support. So this is the dua that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made on the way back from Taif. So this shows the ultimate humility and of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. At a time that Allah Ta'ala had charged him with this incredible responsibility of Nubuwah, and the people of Makkah and the people of Quraysh and even his own family members, the overwhelming majority of them had rejected him and spurned him. Then he went to Taif, and all the people of Taif rejected and spurned him, and now he was on his way back between these two places, leaving Taif, a community who in entirety rejected him, going back towards Makkah Mukarramah, a community who largely had rejected him, and he was worried, right? So he presented his weakness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He presented the humiliation he had received al-nas at the hands of humanity and people in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He invoked Allah Ta'ala's merciful nature. He invoked Allah Ta'ala's rububiyyah, that He's the Rabb of the weak and He's my Rabb, right? And he asked Allah Ta'ala, to whom are you passing me over? To an enemy? But then he said that it's fine as long as you're not angry with me, that I do not care a whim what happens to me. But he also then expressed his humility. وَلَكِنْ آفِيَتُكَ هِيَ أَوْسَوْلِي. But at the same time, if you were to shower your tender grace and afiyah upon me, that would be more expansive, more encompassing, a greater canopy for me to find shade under. And ultimately, what? I seek refuge in you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you should never be displeased with me, that I should never be subject to your anger. And I will keep submitting to you until I earn your pleasure. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa bik. And there is no might or power except with you. So this all du'as that we should try to make and practice in the month of Ramadan. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the humility of the Anbiya alayhim ajma'in. May He mold our humanity according to their humanity. May He put the same feelings in our heart that were the feelings in their hearts when they made these du'as. May He make us live and die upon such feelings. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.